In graph 26.2, we showed that when Coke and Pepsi are not allowed to vary their price, they have no incentive to engage in product differentiation, both choosing the product characteristic of 1/2 on the hotelling line. We'll now assume that Coke and Pepsi have engaged in extreme product differentiation, with Coke choosing the product characteristic 0 and Pepsi choosing the product characteristic 1, and we'll ask what implications such product differentiation has for the prices that Coke and Pepsi will charge if they are in fact free to charge any price. With the products already differentiated, the strategic variable for Coke and Pepsi now becomes price. So we'll model the price charged by Coke on the horizontal axis and the price charged by Pepsi on the vertical axis. If they end up on the 45-degree line, they end up charging the same price for their products. As we've done throughout our discussion of oligopoly, we'll assume that both Coke and Pepsi face a constant and equal marginal cost. We'll then begin by thinking about the best response by Pepsi for any price that Coke might set on the horizontal axis. If Coke sets a price of 0, in other words, Coke is giving away its product for free, it may still be possible for Pepsi to charge a price above marginal cost, because there are some consumers whose ideal point is very close to 1, the product characteristic chosen by Pepsi. Those consumers may well be willing to pay a price above marginal cost, even when Coke is giving away its product for free. As Coke increases its price, it will then be possible for Pepsi to also increase its price, and so Pepsi's best response to higher prices for Coke will be to charge higher prices for Pepsi. We can therefore get a best response function for Pepsi that begins at a price above marginal cost and has a positive slope. If consumers do not care sufficiently about product differentiation to purchase Pepsi at a price above marginal cost when Coke is given away for free, the best response function for Pepsi would shift down and might simply be equal to marginal cost for low prices of Coke, but it would eventually still have an upward slope. As Coke increases its price, Pepsi will be able to increase its price and still attract customers. To find the Nash equilibrium prices, we then have to plot Coke's best response function to any price that Pepsi might set on the vertical axis and include it in the same picture as Pepsi's best response function. Since the two firms are symmetric, with the only difference being that Coke is on the extreme left side of the hotelling line, whereas Pepsi is on the extreme right side, Coke's best response function will be similar to that of Pepsi. If Pepsi is given away for free, Coke might still be able to charge a price above marginal cost and attract customers. And as Pepsi raises its price, Coke's best response will be to raise its price as well. The Nash equilibrium prices are then found at the intersection of Pepsi's magenta best response function and Coke's blue best response function, with Coke charging P1 star and Pepsi charging P2 star. When Coke and Pepsi produce differentiated products and then compete on price, the price they end up charging in equilibrium will therefore lie above marginal cost. In other words, despite the fact that Coke and Pepsi engage in Bertrand price competition, they don't charge price equal to marginal cost, as we predicted in the original Bertrand pricing model, where the two firms were assumed to produce identical products. The only change we've made is that we've allowed Coke and Pepsi to produce differentiated products, and that product differentiation softens the Bertrand price competition to a point where they no longer produce where price is equal to marginal cost, as they compete with one another. A fuller analysis of product differentiation along the hotelling line would involve a sequential game in which firms choose their product characteristic in the first stage and then choose their price in the second stage, taking the product characteristics chosen in the first stage as given. We've taken a shortcut in our example by simply assuming that product differentiation has already taken place and investigating what this implies for the pricing of the two products. But even in this simplified setting, it should be clear that there are strong incentives for firms in an oligopoly to differentiate their products, because that product differentiation then softens the price competition that would otherwise lead both firms to charge price equal to marginal cost.